A lot of parents, and only in Vietnam, but like I think in most Asian societies, or in just, the majority of the world, everywhere, are kind of bent on the idea of like their children, having to go to college in order to have a, prosperous career or an abundant life later on. But when I visited Australia, I didn't get that impression. I didn't get that pressure. If you don't go to college, your life is doomed.
Yeah.
So could you maybe elaborate more?
Absolutely.
On that?
This is a topic I feel really passionate about, actually, because I really want young people listening today to know that they have a number of options available to them in education across the world and in Australia specifically. So yeah, you're right, there is that pressure from parents sometimes to pursue a university education. And Australia has some of the most amazing universities in the world who create wonderful things for communities. I mean, Wi-Fi and the cervical cancer vaccine have been invented in Australia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we have amazing Australian universities who support students in a variety of different ways. But that's not the only part of our education system. We have a world-renowned vocational education and training system and a top-class schooling system.
Jen, it was fantastic to hear about all the options. And I just want to ask Melissa a little bit because, most people looking to study abroad or invest in their children's education abroad are usually fixated on cities. But what are the options available in rural Australia? Places that are maybe may offer just a very different experience compared to the usual suspects that people are used to.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that no matter where you study, you can be assured of consistent quality. But I think students might want to think about non-metropolitan locations, and there are really strong reasons for this. I have actually worked at a regional university and I was really impressed with the quality of the student experience. Our universities are all very, very well assured. The quality is all very world class, and the regulatory framework is very, very strong. So it doesn't matter where the university is in Australia or where the vet institution is in Australia, they all have to meet minimum standards. So then if you were to choose a non-metropolitan location, it would be because of a different lifestyle that you're seeking. And so students who study in regional locations still have access to all the modern conveniences that come with being in an advanced society like Australia.
Thank you for your insight. From what Melissa just told me, what I gather is that, vocational training and education in Australia in general is very hands-on. So Jen, could you maybe talk a little bit more about that element of Australian education?
Yeah, it's true. Australian education system is very focused on giving individuals the skills they need to participate in the workforce. And that's really true in Australia's vocational education and training system, or VET, as we call it. Our VET system is based on what we call competencies. And competencies is about knowing a task, being able to show that you can undertake that task, and then being able to show that, again, you can undertake that task in a workplace. So you'll find that all of Australia's vocational education and training colleges, whether they're our public TAFEs or our private colleges, are all focused on making sure that students have access to hands-on training. So you walk into an Australian TAFE and usually you'll find a simulated car manufacturing setting, you'll find a simulated sound stage, you'll find a simulated hairdresser. And you'll find that students are actually learning by doing. Students are not sitting in a classroom. There's very few classrooms in our vet colleges. They're all looking at delivering hands-on training.
So Jen, it's been lovely to hear you talk about Australian higher education, all the possibilities and all the support that the students